Fix the money, fix the world. In January 2009, same story, different day. The world has just come out of a financial collapse. Banks were being bailed out again with money that didn't exist the day before. That moment became Bitcoin's origin story. This is what happens when a government can print endless amount of money. They fund endless wars. Where does the money go? They fund forever wars, power games, and empires propped up by debt. You see, when money has no limits, neither does corruption, neither does conflict. What are some of the root causes of modern war? Take the Israel versus Iran conflict as an example. At the surface, it looks ideological, but dig deeper and you'll find this. Resource control, oil, land, access to trade routes. At the root of most wars, it's often about resources, not just ideology or religion, but who controls oil, who controls land, and who controls access to things like trading routes or energy corridors. Countries go to war to secure these resources because they equal power, and if your currency is weak or your economy is struggling, controlling these resources can keep your system afloat or give you leverage over others. Currency warfare. The US uses the dollar as a weapon. Sanctions, SWIFT bans, economic isolation. The US is a master at this because the dollar is the global reserve currency. The US can weaponize it. They can sanction a country, cut them off from the SWIFT banking system, and isolate them from global trade. And that's exactly what's been done to countries like Iran and Russia. But here's the thing, that doesn't just hurt governments, it hurts innocent people who suddenly can't access basic financial tools. It turns money into a political weapon, not a tool for peace. And centralized power. Unelected elites funding wars with money they didn't earn and debt you'll be taxed to repay. This all ties back to centralized power. The people making these decisions, whether it's war, money printing, or sanctions, they're usually not elected and they've never been held accountability. They fund wars with money they didn't earn, and the bill always ends up in your taxes, or worse, in inflation that silently drains your savings. You don't get a vote when they send $100 billion to war zones, but you do pay the price at the pump, at the grocery store, or on your paychecks. It's not just about who's right or wrong, it's about who controls the money and how the money is used to control the world. Now, some would argue and say, war is fueled by human ego. It's true, but money is a mirror of human values. If the system rewards secrecy, control, and endless money printing, ego-driven leaders will always abuse it. But we can take that away from them with Bitcoin. Bitcoin limits the tools ego can abuse. Sound money can't make humans perfect, but it can make evil more expensive. Bitcoin doesn't promise utopia, but it gives us a foundation to build something better. Here's how. No more infinite printing. You can't fund a forever war with 21 million coins. One of the biggest reasons government can stay in endless war mode is because they can just print more money. They don't have to raise taxes directly or cut spending. They can just create money out of thin air, and the public quietly pays for it through inflation. But Bitcoin flips that system on its head. With Bitcoin, there is a fixed supply, 21 million coins, that's it. No central bank, no printing press. So if you want to go to war, You need real money, raised honestly and transparently. That makes forever wars financially impossible in a Bitcoin-based system. Neutral and borderless. Bitcoin doesn't care what country you're from. One of Bitcoin's most powerful traits is that it's neutral. It doesn't care what your passport says, what your government believes, or what religion you follow. Whether you're Israeli, Palestinian, American, Bitcoin works the same for everyone. It's borderless, a political tool that helps people interact financially without needing a central authority's permission. That kind of neutrality is what makes peaceful cooperation possible in a divided world. Censorship-proof. Sanctions can't stop peaceful people from trading and surviving. Governments often use sanctions as a weapon, cutting countries off from global finance, but these actions usually hurt ordinary people, not the politicians. They lose access to banking, can't send money abroad, or are locked out of the modern economy. With Bitcoin, that kind of financial censorship doesn't work. As long as you have a phone and an internet connection, you can send, receive, and store value no matter who you are or where you live. That's a lifeline for people under economic pressure who are just trying to survive. Transparent. Every transaction is public. You can't hide black budgets behind blockchain. One of the biggest problems with fiat money is how easy it is to hide corruption. Governments shift money through secret programs, off-the-book spending, and classified military budgets. With Bitcoin, all that becomes harder because every transaction is public and traceable. You can't print money in the dark. You can't hide $100 billion in defense aid behind a blockchain. That level of secrecy forces accountability. It shines a light where there used to be shadows. Escape hatch. For civilians in war-torn economies, Bitcoin is a lifeboat when banks collapse. You know, when war breaks out or the economy crashes, banks can shut down overnight. Currencies can become worthless. People in Lebanon, Venezuela, Gaza, and even parts of Ukraine, they know what that feels like. Bitcoin gives them a way out, a digital lifeboat when the old system is sinking. You can store your savings in Bitcoin, protect it from inflation, and move it across borders, even if you've lost everything else. It's not just investment, it's survival money for people in the harshest conditions. Secret message, The Times, 3rd of January 2009. When Satoshi wrote that line in 2009, he wasn't just reacting to a bank bailout, he was calling out a rot at the heart of the global financial system. In 2008, governments bailed out the very institutions that caused the crash, using money they didn't have, backed by nothing, with zero consequences for the people responsible. The average citizen lost their home, their job, their retirement, and bankers got golden parachutes. That message wasn't just about one bailout, it was a diagnosis. A signal that our civilization was infected with something deeper, corrupt money and corrupt systems built on it. Because when you have money that can be printed without limits, that money can be used to fund things that shouldn't be funded. Unjust wars, bloated bureaucracy, surveillance states, and bailouts for the elites. And worst of all, there is no accountability. You can't vote your way out of the system where money is rigged from the start. You can't reform corruption with the very money that enables it. So what did Satoshi do? He didn't start a revolution with guns, he started one with code. A money system that no one could corrupt, no central bank could print, no state could control. Just math, transparency, and rules that applies to everyone equally. Another critic would say, giving up the ability to manipulate the world via currency is a perk the US won't give up. Which is true, however, history rhymes. The Roman Empire debased the denarius, cutting silver content to fund wars and expansion. It worked until it didn't. Trust collapsed, and so did Rome. The US is repeating the same playbook with the dollar. They're debasing it. Bitcoin is immune to debasement and is a peaceful exit from the system in decline. Fix the money, and we don't just fix the economy. We give peace a chance by making war harder to fund. We give freedom a chance by removing financial gatekeepers. And we give accountability a fighting chance. Because when money is honest, the rest of the system is forced to be as well. Fix the money, fix the world. If you learned something of value, I'd appreciate you leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.